guys, a lot of you have written in saying, do more raking demonstrations. Show us how to rake. And, you know, I hate to say it, this really is not a raking. This is actually a picking video, but we're going to use something that really resembles rakes. This is called the Pagoda pick set. Notice it's called a pick set, not a rake set. The model number is BPXS-12. I bought this one from Lockpick Shop for $35.95 plus a couple bucks shipping. When you take a look at the picks, they all look like kind of variations on the Bogota, but you know, the humps are in different places. All very nice. They're all 22,000 stainless steel, which is 0.55 millimeters. They've been tumbled, so all the edges are very smooth, not like a cat claw at all. So if you play with your picks, you're not going to get cut. You can see even the high points are all tumbled, nice and smooth, all rounded off. The only parts that might need a little bit of love are down in these little valleys and maybe along the shaft where the tumbler didn't quite reach there. But at this price point, they are really finished very nicely. It says stainless steel, 22,000. Let's talk a little bit about the difference between raking and picking with this Bogota set. First, let's talk about traditional style raking. And to do that, we're going to use the most common pick or rake, and this is called the Bogota or the triple peak. And we're going to go with probably the most common lock that you see it done with on YouTube. This is a standard master lock. Pretty gentle bitting. They're all very, very close to each other. Not really a challenge at all to get open. You see it's locked. And let me grab you get 4 tension wrenches. You get 2 with a twist, a fat one, and then a slim one. You get a fat one with a standard L. And by the way, when I say thin one, it's actually tapered to fit into a pretty wide variety, come on baby, wide variety of locks. So kind of neat, get away with 2. I'm going to use the fat one for this. So when you tension one of these things, you want to get it down there. You don't want it to snag up on one of these rivets. And you also don't want it to grab on the bottom of the keyway. And the way you just kind of jiggle it, and you can see that core is kind of floating free in there. And that's really what you're after. This is actually pretty good. All right, I'm going to take the Bogota, and this is how traditional raking is done. You apply light tension, you slide it in, and then it's kind of in and out, kind of like you're plunging a toilet. And at some point, you're going to get lucky, hopefully. Of course, you get lucky fewer times when the camera's running than you do when the camera's off. And you get an open. All right, pretty easy stuff. And that plunging action in and out is traditional raking. That's not what you want to do with this pick set. This pick set requires a little bit different style in order to get into it. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Not all keys are going to be evenly bitted like this one. Some of them are going to be a little more radical, and some of them are going to have more than 4 pins, like this guy. I'm going to cover this up, but he's a good one to use as an example because you'll notice that we got some high ones hiding behind some low cut ones right there. So if we were to take our standard Bogota, see if I can do this and get it to focus. Come on, baby. And we were to slide him in there, you'll notice that those high peaks are probably going to set those back ones just fine. But as we slide it in and out using that plunger action, we're going to probably overset those 3 or 4 low cut pins. So this probably wouldn't have a lot of luck picking this 6-pin lock because we're going to overset 3 or 4 of those pins. So what we want to do is we would want to take a pick, and it just happens to be this one, that has some high cut ones in the back. We have no peak in the middle, and then we have a slight peak at the back. So when we put it in there, if we were to plunge it using the traditional method, we're still going to overset those, but we're not going to plunge it. This kit is not designed for that. This kit is designed to rock, and that's the technique we're going to use. So we're going to slide it in, and then we're just going to kind of rock it up and down and give those peaks and those angles on the peaks a chance to set those pins while we're maintaining just a slight pressure on the tension wrench. Let me see, you get a tension wrench here that'll work. Grab this guy, see if he works. That'll work. All right. This one does have a slight spring-loaded core, so get in there, you devil. That ought to work. All right, so no tension. I'm going to slide this pick in all the way in until I see that last peak right up there, just right underneath that first pin. I'll apply a little bit of tension, and then all I'm going to do is just kind of rock. And I might move it back and forth just a little bit, and eventually we're going to get those pins. Now, you don't always know what those pins look like. We don't always get to peek at the key like we did here. But that's okay, you got an assortment. You try a pick, if it doesn't work, you move to the next one. Now, let's put this down here. If you got a lock where you don't have the key for, and I don't, but I've picked this lock many times. This is another 4-pinner. He's not really that difficult to open, but I do know that, see if I can grab the pick, he's got some high cut ones in the back. So I'm going to grab this guy, high cut in the back, and let's see if I can find a tension wrench. Where did I throw him? See if that'll tension. So we just slide her in there, a little bit of tension, and then just kind of rock it up and down. You notice we're not using that traditional sliding in and out like a plunger. We're just doing the rocking, and we're letting those do their job. Again, I did know the bidding on this, I just didn't have a key to show you. All right, let's stick that guy back. Now we have one that's quite a bit different. He's a really short key, and he's got a very deep cut protecting 3 high cuts. So again, if we were to try to use something like this guy, probably not going to have too much luck. But as we worked our way through it, we might find a shorter one. Come on, baby, focus. Focus. There we go. So if we got a double peak, and again, we may have to slide him back and forth a little bit, but there's no cut here. There's no peak to overset that first low cut pin. Again, this is all trial and error. All right, so we grab this guy, take our double peak, slide him in there, give him a little rocking action. And believe it or not, that's how quick that can be. So if you are a determined raker, if you love raking, you really don't want to move into single pin picking, you're perfectly happy with raking and developing that skill as far as you can. Or if you're raking with a triple peak and you notice you can't get very many locks open, but you're starting to develop enough feel where you can feel where the binder is and you know that you're oversetting pins, this is be a great kit to expand your raking skills with. The Pagoda from SouthOrd, as I said, I got this from Lockpick Shop. It's $35.95 plus a couple bucks shipping. Anyway, it won't cost you anything because I'm going to give this away. It comes in a nice leather case, by the way. You guys have seen these before. Snap closed. And there's your model number right there on the front in case you want to look it up. I'm going to give this one away because the website that you need is right there. Go to that website and go to the free fan giveaway. It's the biggest of the 4 giveaway buttons. Click on that and you can register to win this thing. Anyway, fellas, thanks for your time. Stay safe. Stay legal.